Hello, everyone. I am the All-Seeing I'm with a collective message regarding love. I pulled a couple cards from the Romance Angels deck, and the message that we have here are a few. The first card that came out that I had saw was to give your relationship a chance. So work on your partnership. And this automatically made me feel like there's someone already in your energy who you connect with on a soul level. You may view each other as heaven sent. I feel like the bond that you share is unbreakable. It's unshakable, regardless to what life has thrown at you as individuals or, as a couple, if you are together. You've been able to withstand these tests, pass them, and overcome obstacles. Plenty of them. Playfulness came out also. And this card says, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit to your inner youthful spirit of love to shine. So some of you are needing to incorporate more playfulness in this relationships, and perhaps that'll reignite that fire that you have for one another. Create some kind of spark, maybe a new spark. Perhaps you need to incorporate some new things in your relationship that may invigorate it, I feel. Deception also came out. This says that someone is wearing a fake a false self mask in this relationship. So when that card came out, it made me feel like the person you're connecting with, they care more than they let on. I feel like they may not be completely honest about how they feel. They may be keeping some things inside when it comes to their feelings for you. And I will pull some tarot to see what kind of cards come out. But, I feel like they're not showing you or telling you how they feel or how much they care. So that may lead you to possibly want to give up on the connection sometimes if you feel it's not going your way or the way you feel it should in a partnership. And I think that that's why it's highlighted here for you to give your relationship a chance. We also have this could be the one. So you've already met the romantic partner you seek. This person is already in your energy, as was established in the beginning with the give your relationship a chance. We know that you're already connecting with the person that you're meant to be with. Perhaps, there was some deception in the past within the connection where this person, tried to get away with something that they knew if you knew you wouldn't be okay with. Gives me 7 of Swords energy. Let's see what comes out for tarot as it pertains to love. Thank you, Spirit, for these messages, allowing me to be the conduit here. The first card we have out is the Page of Wands. This card talks about being inspired, taking inspired action, having a lot of ideas, maybe brainstorming ways to move forward in life, but also exploring your options, feeling free. And perhaps, the person you were connecting with was wanting to operate in a way that was more free or more like they were by themselves. Perhaps they were in an exploratory phase when they met you. And this caused them to play some kind of games, or what you consider to be games, in the partnership. Let's see what else comes out. We have the Eight of Wands. So communication is ramping up with this particular person. I definitely see communication happening, clearing things up. Perhaps whatever it is that you felt was not being shared gets communicated, and that brings clarity. But the Eight of Wands signifies a time of rapid communication, rapid action. This could be, you get a text message from this person, and then, you text them back, and then, they're right on it with a response. That's how I kind of interpret the Eight of Wands, like just very rapid communication. Interest, that's a sign of interest. When someone is engaged in the conversation. That's what this feels like. Perhaps they want to talk to you about their explorations. Maybe they experience some things in your absence that they want to share with you about their journey, their travel, and where they're at on their path. Let's see what else comes out here. We have both the Hermit and then Justice. So the Hermit speaks of a time of looking within and relying on your own wisdom, seeking answers to the questions that you may have, perhaps about yourself, about relationships, how things have gone within them, or maybe even about love. You're turning inward to kind of think about what love is, maybe define it for yourself, and think more about what it is that you want, get clear on those things. We have Justice also. So for some of you, this is, you're committed to the truth. You feel like there's equality in a partnership when the truth is told, when information is shared and freely available, and things aren't held back or held within. I feel like you value truth and feel as though things in a connection are more fair when the individuals in that connection are honest and transparent about, when it comes to who they are, where they stand. But you could be staying to yourself, and perhaps if you felt there was some deception in the connection, that could have pushed you into a more isolative space. But I feel like you're definitely connecting with a person who is a soulmate. This could be a twin flame as well. Unified love. We also have partnership, mutual attraction, proposal, marriage, and connection. So this is a deep connection here. You're sharing from full cups. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ten of Pentacles comes out, because I liken that to, two people bringing wealth together. Even, Ten of Cups can be considered as bringing, family together, for example, because that can be a card of blended families. So taking what you have, combining it with what the other person has, and just sharing freely with each other. Could be sharing your feelings with one another. Perhaps that's something that's lacking in the connection. Maybe you're not as upfront with how you feel, and these emotions need to be expressed somehow, some way. There could be some energy of holding back. Stubborn energy here. We have the the Ace of Pentacles. So someone may be coming in, communicating some kind of offer to you, or proposing some kind of idea that turns things around in this connection. The Ace of Pentacles can signify a proposal as well. We heard proposal from the Two of Cups. Marriage, commitment, higher levels of commitment, as the Hierophant signifies, just elevating to another level with someone. And perhaps this person's coming in because they want to offer something solid. The number 9 could be significant. But you may be worried and anxious about how to proceed. And that could be because if there was deception in the past in this connection, you may be unsure on how to move forward. You may be on the precipice of forgiving this person, but not quite there yet, because you place such a high value on honesty, transparency, and truth. You feel like the only way there's fairness and equality in a relationship is when those things exist. We also have the 5 of Wands, so there could be some competition in your energy somehow. Could be having multiple suitors, having a decision to make in love. Perhaps that's on you or your person's end, or maybe you've considered other people. If you face some deception in the past with this person, and in order to get to another place, you have to work on the relationship. I feel you may have thought about dating outside of this particular connection, and possibly seeing other people because of what you know or had come to find out as it relates to this person, wearing a mask and not being completely upfront with how they feel, and not showing how much they care, because I feel they care more than they actually let on sometimes. It's a very performative kind of energy on this person's behalf. Perhaps there's some kind of difference in the connection, differences between you guys that could cause an imbalance, or could be perceived in a negative light by outsiders, because love is love at the end of the day. I mean, but I understand that certain factors exist that prevent people from loving others or the person that they love out loud, if that makes sense. We also have the 6 of Pentacles, so I feel like the connection that you have here with this person is one that is very very loving, because the 6 of Pentacles, there's a merchant on the card giving to 2 beggars. He's being very generous in what it is he's giving. And I feel like, this is not to say that you are in a position of need, but if you ever were, this person would give to you, freely, no problem, no hesitation. If they have it, it's yours. But I feel like, you know, yeah, some people, take a chance by giving to others that maybe they haven't had a history of giving or receiving with, if that makes sense. But it's like they, if you were in a position of power and you had, or and this person was in a position of need, and the roles were reversed, the tables were turned, you would give just as generously from what you have to this person. So I feel like it works both ways. The Seven of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, or the Seven of Wands came out with the Two of Pentacles also. I feel like whatever, I feel like the Seven of Wands could be this person fighting seen and unforeseen battles in their life. Perhaps they're fighting battles that you don't know anything about, and they're not communicating what these battles are, but you just know that something's off, something's not right. So if you feel like they haven't been completely upfront about what it is they feel or what they're going through, that could be the case. They could be, engaged in war, so they feel, because they have this, the odds are stacked against them, they may feel, they could have different things going on with their friends, that maybe they're finding out certain friends of theirs aren't really supportive, or certain family members aren't supportive, or it's just being up against certain odds, but fighting the good fight, like being in a good position to fight, and not having any type of plans to give up. They could be juggling a lot right now with this Two of Pentacles, juggling work, juggling home. The grind is real. So, there sometimes a lot going on in a person's life. And, if they don't communicate it, how would you know? So I understand that, but I feel like things could be turbulent or chaotic in their life. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like some of you are really standing in this energy of of wealth, in many ways, not just financial stability, which I feel like you have, or you're obtaining, acquiring. You're a very nurturing, loving, generous soul. Like I said before with the Six of Pentacles, regardless of what position you're in, and sometimes we flip flop. We may go between being in a good place to being in a not so good place, because that's just the tides of life. But I feel like you're working hard. You're not complaining about the work you have to do. You could be a mother too, or a parent. If you are, this is not gender specific, but it's the Queen of Pentacles, so it could be a feminine that we're referring to. And then we also have the King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And it's interesting because at the top of the reading, we had the Page of Wands. Now we have the King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like there is some maturing going on with your person. And maybe that's why they're wanting to come in with this swift communication to talk about how they feel and what's going on, to finally open up. I feel like the attraction is real. This person could be very attractive themselves. Maybe you have felt like they're out of your league, or You know, maybe that's their thoughts about you, that you're, you know, you may be out of their league, or they don't know how they could have, you know, like landed a person like you or gotten your attention. But I feel like this person's very attractive. They're very passionate. They have a lot to offer. And they're eager and willing to give it to you. That sounds so X-rated, but hey, you know, that too, they could, you know, be wanting some kind of intimacy with you as well. Whether they've had it before and haven't forgotten what that's like, or they've never experienced it before and want to see what it's like. You know, I feel like there's definitely attraction here, magnetism. I'm gonna get a couple letters to see what comes out. As I said earlier, the letters, the number 9 could be significant. The number 2 could be significant as well. Both numbers appear here twice. 6, 7, 8, 9. So sequencing or sequential numbers, and that being a sign of some kind of alignment. We have the letter Z here. Thank you, Spirit. We have N as well. We have D. We have O. And the last letter here, we have F. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for right now, guys. I want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to book a personal reading, I am open for those. I'll have my information in the description box below. And until next time, y'all take care of yourselves. Peace out.